Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hart, and today I'll be breaking down the 7-game NBA slate we have today on DraftKings on Monday night. I'll be going through my favorite spin-up plays, mid-range options we can look at, and some dart throws, value plays to go over. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and now let's get into the slate breakdown. As always, follow me on Twitter, HartDFS. We'll start off with this first game, Sacramento and Charlotte. LaMelo Ball is still out. Fox looks great, 8,800. Same thing with Sabonis. Do prefer Sabonis, but Fox's usage has been around 34, 35%. So he's looked fantastic. In this matchup against Charlotte, terrible defense. Really like him a good amount. Same thing with Sabonis. He's been kind of limited when it comes to foul trouble, just random benching. But Sabonis looks great here, 8,200. That's a massive ceiling if he stays out of foul trouble. Terry Rozier looks questionable, more likely doubtful. So that means, you can definitely load up on a guy like Gordon Hayward, Dennis Smith Jr., or Kelly Oubre. I'd say I prefer Hayward. He's a little bit safer, I guess, has a little bit higher of a ceiling compared to those other two, but I don't mind getting to either of those other two. Keegan Murray, just more scoring dependent, so 6,000. Not that my favorite play. PJ Washington looks okay. Had a great game last game, but does have a pretty low floor. Kevin Huerter, really need him to hit your shots or hit his shots. Otherwise, he's going to really tank your lineup. 5,300, just an okay price for him. I want to get to really anyone else. Mason Plumlee, you can take that dart throw there. Kind of limited on the minutes. Not going to shoot the ball, obviously, a ton or really at all. So we really need him to get those assists and rebounds, maybe some blocks or steals. But yeah, if he's hitting those, 4,600 looks like an okay price for him. Otherwise, don't think to force that. McDaniels, seen about 25 to 30 minutes. Looks okay. There he does it for the first game. Second game, Washington and Philadelphia. 10-2 Embiid. Looks fantastic if he's able to go. He is dealing with the illness, so maybe he's a little bit questionable when it comes to conditioning. But I think he looks great 10-2 against Washington if he's in. If he's out, obviously Harden and Maxey, you're going to want to load up on those two. But let's say Embiid's in. So Harden looks decent, 9-6. More of a contrarian play. If Embiid's in. Beal, just not shooting the ball enough for me. Playing the minutes. The minutes are there. Shot attempts are there. It's just you really need him to shoot the ball more. Kind of taking this more like a point guard first approach where he's just passing the ball more. Not looking to score a ton. Looking to get other guys involved. So I don't like him at that price tag for that. Porzingis looks decent. It's just don't trust him in that foul trouble against Embiid. I think this is a spot where you definitely could take a shot on Kyle Kuzma. Does have a good ceiling, does have a pretty low floor. So it looks like a good tournament play, 7,000 against Philly. He's one of those guys who could definitely step it up in that 4 spot for them. Maxey, as I said, looks like a great play if Embiid's in or if Embiid's out. If Embiid's in, he looks more of like a tournament option. Obviously, more boom or bust with him just being kind of a score first guard. Harris, you can take that shot there. No one's going to play him at all. It's just he really hasn't flashed much. Really need him to get to close to 40 fantasy points to really help out your lineup. The guards for Washington, don't really have any interest in them, even with Delon Wright out. Monte's kind of seeing close to 30 minutes. He looks like an okay play there. Will Barton more score independent. Don't think he to go to anyone else. Atlanta and Toronto. Trae Young looks great, 9,700. Looks like a very solid spend up option. DeJounte, a little bit cheaper. Don't think he to go there. Rather get to Trae. But he does have a huge ceiling, especially if he's getting new steals. Double upside for both of them. I love Pascal. The minutes are there. Shot attempts are there. He's a guy who can do a little bit of everything. His usage has been around 32%, even with everyone on that team being in. So he has a massive ceiling if he's really hitting his shots. So I like him a good amount against Atlanta. 8,900. It looks like a great price for him. He should be about closer to 9,500, maybe even closer to 10K. Van Fleet, just a little too pricey for me. Everyone's healthy. And with that, everyone being healthy, maybe I'd take a shot on a guy like OG. Otherwise, I don't really have any interest in any of those wings. Gary Trent playing the minutes. He's just more scoring dependent. Scotty, just not shooting the ball a ton, but it can do a little bit of everything. So maybe you look to him at 6,500, looks decent. John Collins, fine tournament play. Past 2 games, only shot the ball 4 times. He's just one of those guys who can, be very hot from the field, double, or get very cold. So 6,300 looks okay. Under 5,000, don't have much interest. Clint Capella, kind of limited. Hunter, not seeing much with the addition of DeJounte Murray. Don't mind Boucher. 4,100 is a decent dart throw play here. A high energy guy off the bench can score in bunches. So 4,100, even in around 20 minutes, could easily go off. So I don't mind him there, especially if one of those wings starters gets in foul trouble. Indiana Brooklyn looks like a great game to stack. They just played. Durant and Kyrie should be able to easily go off. They haven't really flashed too high of a ceiling yet, at least in Durant's case. Kyrie has with 68 and 62. So I guess maybe I prefer Kyrie, even though he's a little bit more scoring dependent. Halliburton looks fantastic. Price barely coming up. Pretty much gotten 50-plus fantasy points in every game so far. Obviously 42, but looks great here. Double-double with 3 points and assists. 8,500 should be a pretty popular play, so I don't mind running back there. I'd say almost my favorite piece is going to be Ben Simmons, 6,400. As I said, he's trending up. Almost got that triple-double, 9, 9, and 8. 35.5 fantasy points. He can do steals and blocks as well. Minutes are there. I actually have a decent amount of interest in Ben Simmons, 6,400. Benedict Mathurin, just a little too scoring dependent for me. I don't mind it. He's been great so far this season. Buddy Hield, I say I prefer getting to Buddy. Usually he's kind of just scoring dependent, but he's been doing a lot better when it comes to rebounds and assists. Playing a ton of minutes, shooting the ball a ton, so I like him a good amount in this matchup. Jalen Smith looks decent. I just don't really trust him guarding Kevin Durant. Now that Miles Turner's back, do have a good amount of interest in Miles Turner, 5,500. Sat out the previous game, should be fine for this game. Should see probably close to 30 minutes, a little bit more. So obviously, massive double-double upside. Can do a ton of blocks as well. So 5,500 is way too cheap for him if he's playing 30 minutes. Claxton looks okay, 5,400. Would rather get to Turner in that price range. And then Royce O'Neal looks like an okay, value play. It really does it for that. Isaiah Jackson's kind of out of the rotation. Maybe sees 20 minutes with, Miles Turner back. Giannis, 12.5. Obviously, a great matchup. Just a little too pricey for me. Going to be very hard to get up to him. Drew Holiday, as I mentioned, will always have, the ample amount of opportunity to be able to do very well. Just comes down to him hitting his shots. If he doesn't, obviously has a very low floor into the low 30s, even into the 20s. But if he is, obviously he can get you, 60 plus, especially with a few steals. So he looks okay there. Cade has been playing great the past few games. If you want to ride that hot streak and hope they, keep this game close, don't mind that. ID, price is coming down, which I do like to see, but just a little too scoring dependent right now for me. Obviously, can get you into the mid-30s, so 6,200 looks okay. Bogdan been playing great. Just don't really trust this matchup here going against Giannis. If there's a guy I'd take a shot on, it would be Sadiq Bey, but he's more boom or bust. Can go out there and get you 10 fantasy points, or go out there and get you 40. Do like Bobby Portis, good amount here. 5,400 has that double-double upside we do like. Shooting the ball about 15 times a game, even in a minimal amount of minutes. So Bobby Portis looks great. Isaiah Stewart, don't trust him guarding Giannis. Otherwise, I'd like him a good amount of 5,200. Brook Lopez, 5,100 looks okay. Been playing great this season. Just don't really expect him to keep that up. Duran is questionable. Burks is questionable. If Burks is in and he's full go, I don't mind getting him at 4,300 off the bench. The guards for Detroit are terrible, so he should see probably 20 plus minutes. And then if Duran's out, you could definitely take a shot on a guy like Nerlens Noel as the backup center. Especially, there's going to be foul trouble for some of the bigs on Detroit for a guy like Stewart. Obviously Bagley's still out, so yeah, they're running thin on the centers. Noel looks great, good point per minute guy there. If Duran is officially rolled out, he's obviously the biggest snooze on the slates because if he's out, I'd say load up once again on Tyus Jones, 6,000. Prefer Dylan Brooks over Bane, even though Dylan Brooks is more scoring dependent. But at 5,800, way better price than Bane at 79. But they look both really, really solid. And then Santi would obviously get a good bump when it comes to shooting the ball. Brandon Clark would see minutes off the bench. Same with Conchar. Really all depends on if Morant's in or out. If he's in, prefer just getting to Ja, and that's pretty much it. You can definitely take that shot on Dylan Brooks, 5,800. Once again, more scoring dependent. But yeah, Ja is really the big question mark on this whole slate on whether he's in or out. Utah side, Laurie, a little too cheap, 7,100. Playing the minutes, shooting the ball a ton, double-double upside, so not mind running it back here with him. Same thing with Clarkson, a little bit more scoring dependent, but obviously has a massive ceiling if he's shooting the ball well. Conley's back, so I don't think he'd get to Colin Young or Colin Sexton. Kelly Olynyk and Vanderbilt do have a good amount of interest in them as bigs. Don't shoot the ball a ton, but they're very, very good when it comes to rebounding, assists, some steals and blocks. They could easily pay off their price points. So I think those are probably two of my favorite plays on the Utah side. And then last game of the slate, Houston, LAC. Love Paul George. Going to be super popular. Maybe his ownership will come down a little bit just because of how bad he's been the past 2 games, but don't think he passed that up. Kawhi's still out, so Paul George, I think, is an absolute lock. Should be, decently popular. Kevin Porter Jr., don't mind running back here with him. Obviously, he has a good ceiling, decent floor, so he looks great at 7,600. Zubac, a little too pricey for me. Really need him to get you a ton of blocks. Otherwise, he's not going to pay off his price. Green, high ceiling, low floor. So he's one of those shooters. If he's not hitting the shots, going to screw you at 6,600. Don't mind taking the shot there, but prefer getting to Kevin Porter Jr. Jalen Smith or Jabari Smith, not in play for me. 6,700. You could definitely go to him. He's shooting the ball a decent amount. It's just I prefer getting to the other two. I don't mind running back here with Powell. He's shot the ball way better the past 2 games. Kind of what we expect to see out of Powell. About 30 fantasy points a game here. So 5,400 looks good for Powell for me. Reggie Jackson, 5,300. Paul George back. He looks more as a secondary play. Maybe a little bit more interested. John Wall's out, but I think I prefer getting to Powell. Sengun looks great, 5,200. A lot of good options for the power forwards and centers today in that 5 to 6.5K range. So easily could pay down for a center and pay up for guards. Sengun looks great, 5,200. If John Wall's in, looks okay. If he's out, I think I have a little bit more interest in Reggie Jackson. Morris looks okay here. Covington, maybe if Morris or Covington's out, maybe that helps Morris a little bit more. If he's in, don't really have any interest. Yeah, don't really have any interest in anyone below 5K on either team, maybe besides Deshaun Tate. Starting small forward, power forward for them should see 25 to 30 minutes. Decent point per minute guy, so I don't mind taking a shot there. But that really does it for my favorite plays. Probably say I'll give you guys 4. Bobby. Who else we got here? Sabonis. And let's go for more of under the radar guy. Under the radar. Miles Turner is obviously going to be super, super popular. I'd say under the radar, another center. It's going to be hard to fit all these centers, but Pascal, 8,900, going to see a ton of minutes, going to shoot the ball a ton, triple-double upside, very high chance of a double-double upside, so he looks really good here at 8,900, especially if we want to pivot off of those chalky center plays. But yeah, those are my 3 favorite kind of big man plays as of right now. So if you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.